going to keep moving along, and the next we have is our panel, and this is a special panel that Meg Jones is going to be doing on selling in today's environment. She's going to have a group of, let's just say our key sellers right now who are doing fantastic. So I would highly suggest right now, sit down, take out your notebook, start paying attention, because what you're going to learn in this next section is going to really help you boost your business. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Meg Jones.
Welcome, everybody. So glad you're here joining us in this virtual conference. In this session, we are going to be hosting a sales panel with some of our top field leaders, bringing to you today Victoria Lee, who's an EFC from sunny California, Mark Bierman, another EFC from Arizona, recently relocated in Arizona, and Yetti Esatu, a field vice president in the Virginia area. And these three have agreed to discuss some things today that I think you'll find valuable in your business. So welcome to all of you. And today I really want to focus our panel on how COVID-19 has impacted our business. It's just a real thing. We're going on 6 months now, and it's impacted our lives in so many ways. And it's forced us to do so many things differently, with some of the biggest changes being how we interact with each other on both, or people in general, on both a professional and a personal level. This has been a year certainly of significant challenges and hardships even for many, but it's also been a year of incredible opportunities and innovation and adaptation. And in this sales panel today, what I'd like to focus on is that innovation and adaptation, and specifically how you all have managed to innovate and adapt and thrive in a time that others have found challenging. So as we all know, the insurance industry has historically been very people-centered, right? Until this spring, most, if not all, sales presentations were done face-to-face, right? Often at a client's home or in your office across the desk from each other. And things have changed. For the last 6 months, that's had to be different. Some areas are opening up and it's getting back to normal, but by and large, it's been very different. So my first question or topic that I'd like each of you to address is, what does your sales presentation look like today, and how have you had to modify it in this environment? And Victoria, if you wouldn't mind addressing that first, tell us what you're doing today differently.
No problem. This whole pandemic thing have hit all of us hard. In March and April, business have just gone down because the mindset of a lot of people is in panic zone and they don't want to talk about anything. And so, for business like ours, is a face-to-face business, and I encounter so many people call and ask about it, but they do not want to sit down, they do not want to sign any paperwork because they need to understand it clearly. And for us, we have to change our way of doing businesses because it started with Zoom. We call, we on the phone like at least 2 or 3 hours, but I find it very difficult for clients to completely understand. We change our office. We make it safety. We gear up with safety shield with mask on. Back to the face-to-face is how I have to sit down with my client because I couldn't find it with Zoom or with telephone work for me. So we have to go back to the face-to-face. And like I said, as we keep our office open, one at a time, we do not have agents coming in. Very limited. I wipe down every single table and chairs after every visit, but it's still going to come back to face for us because I need to see them. I need to see in their eyes, they understand the product that we're presenting, and make sure they completely understand. So for me, it's hard yet, but we find new ways to overcome the difficulties.
You got it. So you've just chosen to use all the safety precautions and PPE.
Everything.
Awesome. Yetti, how about you? How are you doing it?
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for having me on our first virtual conference here. To go back to the question, I use Zoom video conferencing, and people prefer doing it that way. I prefer doing it that way, and it makes my job easier, but my clients didn't miss anything here because I take a picture of what the important thing is, and then I go over with them when it comes to delivery or before even we submit the application. So I love the online system, and it made my job easier, and I love it. It works good.
Well, and with the traffic problems you have in your area, not driving all up and down across the three-state area has probably been a benefit, right?
Absolutely.
Save some time.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Yetti. How about you, Mark?
Well, for us, we actually, our Zoom side of it definitely picked up for us because we were doing Zooms before, but not very often. But so it was a combination of Zoom meetings and in person if they felt comfortable in getting together and taking the proper precautions when we got together. But the thing that we learned right out of the chute is when you do a Zoom meeting, it's important because you have that distance between you. And so we made sure that we picked up our education side of it through our message to them on truly what we do. We also, it's also gathering that information that what are their problems, what are they dealing with, and we painted that picture on how we can help them through a vision. If you died too soon, if you became ill or injured, or running out of money in retirement. And so we focused on them three aspects of how can we touch in these areas and help them. And that was just a massive hit for us. And it also created efficiencies when we could do the Zoom side of it also. So that is, the big thing I can really stress is that being in a Zoom situation, you have to make sure that you keep your game up even a little bit higher, because you got to be able to educate them and pass that passion that you have to help them through a Zoom meeting versus in person.
Excellent. Thank you for that. All right. Well, it sounds like you guys all adapted and your numbers have shown it. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So I think you guys can really give some encouragement to especially new agents out there thinking, how could I get started in a time like this? It would be so difficult. And you are such great examples that it doesn't have to be. That if you just adapt, we can just do it differently. So that's fantastic. What about this? So finding leads and keeping your pipeline full is just critical in our business, right? In any sales based business, you've got to keep your pipeline full. You have to have people to talk to. So it's critical to keeping your momentum up, and in our model, reaching those next milestones and cash flow levels that we're looking for. During this time, some of our agents and certainly in some of our competitors, we've got folks out there that are just treading water, just trying to keep their sales levels from dropping too much, right? That's the mentality, is like, I just want to hang on so that when this is over, I can get back to what I was doing. But all three of you have managed to not just hold on or tread water, but you've actually increased your sales volume from your production levels before, which I think is remarkable. So I think people out there are probably going to be pretty curious to know how you did it and what's your secret. So Yetti, let me start with you. How did you do it?
Well, I leveraged the quiet time to educate more about the products. All or most of the carriers that we're using have a live webinar. So I attended many webinars, and I increased the knowledge that I have. So the confidence level went up too. So the more I educate myself, the more I want to go out there and teach. Even though I can't go out, but there are so many interviews that I attended. I have my own YouTube channel, and I educate the audiences. The target audiences that I targeted. I just go out there and I have my own YouTube channel, as I say, Facebook, Instagram. I'm everywhere in my community. There's nobody out there that says I do not know Yetti. So I created that awareness in the community, both the name and the product together. So I get calls, and I have a system that I use. So for the new agents, they have to really understand the products very well before they go out there and educate, because we hear so many complaints from other, consumers that purchase the product from somewhere else, other broker dealer it could be, or other individuals. We don't know who they are, but the products that they have, you can tell that a person who do not have any clue about the industry, about the products. sold it to them. So to avoid that, first of all, learn and understand what you do. Do you have the love for it? Do you have a system that you follow? The company has a wonderful system. On top of that, databases are very, very important for this kind of high-end industry or high-end business. So using all of them, really, and then I pay attention about what's going on every month. Like this month, for example, the month of September is a life insurance awareness month. What have we done? And this is a great opportunity to pick up the phone, call the past clients, people who really have a respect and they have trust in what we do. We already proved it to them. So a track record is very, very important to really grow and succeed in this business. So, you pick up the phone and contact them. How are you doing? I'm just checking on you. And then other things, one after the other. And our company has a great CRM system. It might be their anniversary month. Call them and ask them, how's the performance on the product that we opened up? We have to present ourselves as a professional. The industry is expecting us to present ourselves up to their standard. Do we really understand the industry standard? I've seen many people not have no clue at all about the industry standard. The industry way up high there, and we are down. It makes it very difficult for us to succeed. So knowledge, database, find a media or find a way how you can reach out people with what you know. Do you have excitement? Do you love what you do? All of that are very, very important for any event to succeed in what they do. So,
Thank you, Yetti. I don't think anyone could argue that you have excitement for what you do and
Oh,
passion for what you do. It shows, and it's catching. People really do react well to that. Thank you. Victoria, how about you? What's your secret? How have you not only hung on, but grown? How'd you do that?
Well, I think with this is, your mind, heart, and soul have to be 100% committed to this business, not just like you pick up, when you have the free time. So for me, the last 12 years, I've been all in on this business. And like Yetti said, the product knowledge is so important. And, you brand yourself. You have to become the expert. You have to be that person when they think about situation, hardship, they think about you first. So the last 12 years, I have been, on TV show, on radio, and I built the branding. I built the name that, they look for me. Now people recommend me, refer somebody to come see me because she's an expert. She can help. So with this industry, like I said, product knowledge is so important, and continue on to focus and bring the knowledge out there. I educate more than I sell. I review and I help people understand, especially in this time, in this hardship. They have to understand what if that main person that bring home the income, what if they're never around? So my message is not about selling something, but about the what if, and like I said, continue on. Every single day I wake up with a mission. Is build on the knowledge, read a lot more, and go out there and share the knowledge. So it's so important. It's branding, I think.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, and like Yetti, you have a strong social presence as well through
Never stop.
different avenues, and you're very well known in your community. Mark, what about you? What's your secret? What's the secret sauce?
Well, I'm going to use the word discipline is the first thing, because when Bridge and I made a commitment to come to FFS and we got an understanding of the product, the first thing that we recognized, well, if the economy is good, people are going to love this product because it does all these different things. But we also determined that if the economy goes bad, goes down, this product is also good. And so we felt that we were in a situation, so we had the belief that, okay, you know what, if when COVID came in, the stock market, dropped like crazy, we said, okay, we're going to get up every day and go at it. And we're going to dress, shave, get and look professional at all times. But we also had a reminder of what happened to both of us in 2008 when the real estate bubble went. We got wiped out that year and started all over in our lives, and we said we cannot allow this to happen. And so we basically went right into, well, I guess I'll simplify it. Like Phil Gerlicher said to me a couple weeks ago, COVID is an excuse, not a reason. We truly had that in our heart. And we went out and immediately went to all of our clients and said, guess what? You didn't lose any money. And they're going, you sure? You sure? Let's look. And in turn, the referrals to brothers, sisters, relatives, friends came pouring in because we had the excitement that we had the right product in their hand. And that was so cool, and then we said, okay, now we got to expand our business even more. We joined some network online groups. And then we said, all right, we're going to step outside the box here. We're going to join the Chamber of Commerce. And we joined the Chamber of Commerce and met with the president and said, here's who we are, here's what we do. And 4 referrals out of the Chamber president day one. 2 weeks ago, we sponsored they had their gala, and we were the sponsors for the Entrepreneur of the Year. We got all of that recognition again, and and then we got to go last week to because that was all online, but we got to meet the Entrepreneur of the Year and all the other people that won it. So what we have been doing is stepping outside the box and creating exposure that doesn't take an arm and a leg financially to do something. And so there's really what we did, but it was motivated by fear that we did not want to deal with what happened to us in 2008.
Wow, so great opportunity to try different things, right? And so if you were giving advice to other agents out there, they can't be afraid to try other things. Or if they are, use that fear. Like you said, use it to propel you forward instead of hold you back. Great advice, great advice. All right, well, we do have a few minutes left, so I have a couple more questions. And this actually can kind of tie into what you were talking about, Mark. So for clients who are experiencing financial difficulties because they've either lost a job or have had their hours reduced, what advice do you give them when they come to you, assuming they come to you, and think that surrendering their policies are only option? Like, I'm going to start with you, Victoria. Like, what if someone calls you and says, I know it's great and you explained it to me, but I just can't afford it. What advice do you give them?
This is real. I mean, the last 11, 12 years we're experiencing, sitting down with client and we advise them that we can start this for them, and for when the hardship become, they can reduce the premium and all of that. And in March and April, I personally experienced like 10 or 12 calls per day from clients that bought this policy, and now they panic because they don't know what's going on, and right away they couldn't work and they couldn't handle this. And the first thing in their mind is cancel. I want to cancel. And like I said, I trained my agent right afterward. I pulled all my staff together and I said, you have to understand, number one, calm the client and let them understand you with the best in the industry. This product allow you to, in a situation like this, you may do 3 things. Number one, you can reduce the minimum. Number two, don't cancel, because a lot of people understand the first thing they think is, I just want to cancel and I don't care about the policy. But a lot of time it takes time to explain to them, you already own this wonderful product. Just reduce the premium. And if you can reduce the premium, you can extend it out for 6 or 7 more months. Then we can pick it back up again, explain to them different options. Other clients, I said, because you overpaid into your policy, you have all this cash built up. Now you can step back and even skip payments, and your policy is still okay. And the first thing they go, wow, I didn't know that. It's great, because we talked about it, but we never exercised it. And this is the first time that we're able to sit down and say, we do what we promised, and this is how we can help you. So what I did is I put on a list of all of the clients that call, and I contact the insurance company and stop the premium, hold off the premium. But one thing all of the agents have to remember, take notes of all of that names, because when client reduce it, they tend to forget about it and continue on reducing it for a long time. So what happened is, June, July, I called back all of those people. I said, look, are you okay financially now? Can we make it back? Can we repay the missing part? And a lot of them go back to paying. And so this is something that we have to explain and understand. carrier, call them and see what option do you have. Very important. This is when you build a relationship. This is when you can, show the client that you truly care for them. Not just pick up the phone and say, oh, you want to cancel? I'm going to cancel it. Don't do that, because we have duties. We have responsibility for this client. And a lot of time, unfortunately, I have clients that, other agents say they just cancel it. And then 5, 6, 7 years down the road, if this person goes into a condition, they cannot buy the policy again. So very important, all the agents out there, we have responsibility and with the understanding and knowledge, walk this client through. Very important. That's why we get paid the way we do. We have to be responsible. So options, minimum, stop the payment, pick it up again. Some of our clients, we overfund. This is the reason I explained to them, when you overfund a policy situation like this, you can skip even a year or two. Your policy is still in good standing position. So very important for that.
Thank you, Victoria. And that really goes back to selling 101. If you're talking about an IUL, to don't be tempted to sell a policy at minimum premium, because then you won't have this option later when a client hits a bump in the road. This is the bump in the road we always train about, right?
Yes.
This is the big bump. Awesome. So let me ask you, Mark, and you can tie it back to this question if you want, but if someone is having a financial difficulty, obviously Victoria stated well what we can do with the policies. What about recruiting? Is this creating any potential opportunities for people who are looking for a different career?
That's a great question, because it's happened to me 2 times in the last month. And it's great to bring somebody on because they lost their job, but they also are familiar with the product, because they've had the policy for a few years, and so that literally has happened. But the thing that we do every policy that we write, every single person is asked this question: are you comfortable with this payment? You're not going to lose sleep on this, are you? And very critical. If you overdo their budget, the likelihood of them canceling out is increased because they're stressed out that. But what we also do is educate big time on front loading, and there's where creates the sustainability of this particular product. So we've had people that were able to comfortably reduce their payment down into their comfort zone right now, but we always ask them, okay, how long do you want to drop this payment down? We determine that. Well, I think it's going to be 2 months, 3 months. Okay, so we make them just commit to that, and then we'll talk about it in 2 months. At that point, if they don't respond back, they know it's going to go back up. So we know, because it's important to get their payment back, not keep them down. But I have had clients that took out a policy in 2017 because they were doing extremely well and had extra money. When I went in to make the phone call to the carrier, point blank, it was, oh, they have enough money in there for 4 years of no payments.
Wow.
There's what's really, really cool, on that. But this is also, like you were saying, Meg, a great opportunity to recruit some of these people if they literally lost their jobs. And I got 2 super talented people here that have joined our team in the last month because of that. And it's about, like everybody's been talking, it's about educating them, making sure you're not putting people into policies that they can't truly afford, and just being conscientious about it. But also reminding them, if you keep this payment down, it's going to impact your retirement down the road. So just, keep it simple and educate them. Don't get fancy with it. Just tell them the basics, and you're going to be okay.
Fantastic. I appreciate that. Yetti, we've got about 1.5 minutes left, maybe 2, for our time that we have, so we don't go over. Would you like to either speak to that or any final thought on another topic for our guests out there, everybody listening?
I'd like to speak on this one. My case is a little bit different. When they come to learn about the product, all of this are covered. I mean, many of my clients have a concern. What if I, stop my job? What if I become, not like with illness where they can take money from the policy, but for other reasons? Job security is the main concern in my community. So we always talk about, you can pay the minimum or maybe guideline level, overfunding it. It gives you a room, just like Mark and Victoria say. But other than that, when they go to cancellation, I'm the trusted source in my community. I show them other avenues where they can really go back to work. I mean, it doesn't have to be what they've been doing, but I really, send a lot of people into a virtual assistant. Some of them are working for me as a virtual assistant in my real estate business. Some of them are taking the overflow calls for my first financial security business. So I give jobs and I show them a way. One of the area that I send my clients, AllisonCourse.com has a lot of free customer service online, public speaking. It's just so many courses that they give for free. So I say, go there, educate, be an online marketing person. You can market my business. I can bring you other businesses. So I try to connect them and find their potential and change their life. So it fixes a lot of problems. I mean, whatever concern that they have related to money and paying their monthly obligation, it will be completely resolved, and many of them are happy. So as a trusted source, they come not only for financial services, their real estate, their family, their kids, any of the area that the community so where I have achieved the highest, they come to me. So that also helped my business and generating more leads in many areas that I touch. So that is my feedback.
Wow, Yetti, I'm not sure anyone can duplicate that secret. You are providing multiple services at once, but that's true of everyone here on this panel. And what I've seen is a real theme of service, because you are truly serving your clients. You all have servant hearts. It's not a one-time transaction. All of you are very well known and displayed here in your remarks and comments that keeping up with your clients, keeping in contact, really caring with them is what's making the difference. So we are completely out of time, but this has been a pleasure. I thank each and every one of you. Maybe wave to the folks at home, and we're going to close out our session, but thank you so very much.
Hey, thanks a lot, Meg. I tell you what, folks, that was a great panel. And anytime you can get together with a group like that, I mean, you're talking about $2 million earners in EFCs, and one of our future, and I say future because I've had a lot of conversations with Yetti, and she's got good plans, and she's headed in that direction, a future EFC in Yetti. I mean, these are the folks that you want to listen to because they are getting it done now. And as we keep moving into the future here, with the future in focus, these are the keys that you want to come off of with the information you get from them.